This is Your Pain Game podcast, where we talk about the game of living in and with chronic pain and trauma, getting to the heart of how to heal. I am your host, Lyndsay Soprano. On this show, I plan on discussing with doctors, chronic pain patients, holistic practitioners, loved ones, and anybody that is interested in having their voice heard in the chronic pain and trauma world that we live in. Well, hey, my favorite listeners on the planet, my little VIPs. I would like to start today with everybody just taking a deep breath and freaking smiling because I want everyone to just smile like big-heartedly right now, because just for even a second, even if you don't feel like doing it, just do it. You know, I even in the midst of all of the bullshit that I go through with my bod and all of that, I really try to still bring my smile and bring my sassiness and my depravity and all of my stuff with me. But, you know, sometimes it's really hard for us to smile, to show that window to our happiness, because we all struggle with so many things in life, whether it's trauma or chronic pain or family issues or death and this and that. I mean, we all have so many things going on and we forget to breathe. Lyndsay needs to breathe. And we forget to smile. And, you know, I sometimes I feel like I'm crawling out of my skin because of my pain, and it is hard to smile. So I need to smile, damn it, right? And that is what I'm encouraging you guys to do. I have been blessed in my life with, I would say, if I could pat myself on the back, with a pretty decent smile. And I've been told I have a contagious bit of a laugh, right? But when it comes to my teeth, I've been very, very good with my healthcare with teeth. But over the past, or my oral healthcare, over the past 2 years or so, I'm really struggling with the sensitivity within my teeth that CRPS has done. Because as you guys know that have listened so far, and if you haven't, welcome. I'm a disaster and I love being a hot disaster sometimes. But I've learned that I have the nerves, the nerve endings of everything in my body is super sensitive. And my teeth have jumped into that role. And it's a struggle, like breathing in and out. My teeth feel like I've got like ice cold, like wind blowing on my teeth all the time. And it's hard to eat because of all of this. And as my listeners know at this point, I talk about my disordered eating and how that came to be. And I know that now my teeth have come into a bit of my disordered eating because I'm afraid to eat certain things. I'm afraid to get hot, cold, whatever it hurts to chew. There's all kinds of weird things that are going on. And so I've been hunting at, I don't like going to the dentist, right? Forget it. Who likes going to the dentist? Nobody. Everybody raise their hand if you like going to the dentist. No hands are going up, right? But I'm struggling with, I know the fact that I need to take better care of my oral health because it affects so many other parts of our body. And I didn't actually really know that. I mean, I'm a smart chick, but I just didn't know. And I've been hunting down somebody to talk about this, and I found her. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce you to my guest today, Rocky Norris. Rocky, yes, girl.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Oh my God, I love having you here. And I love your name, like nobody's business.
Yeah, nobody forgets it, that's for sure.
I love that. Yeah. So let me introduce you to Rocky. She's a nutritional therapy practitioner, a registered dental hygienist for over 15 years. She's also a licensed Restart instructor and has really seen firsthand how our overall health is affected by what's going on in the gut and the mouth. And a lot of the episodes that I've been doing recently and have been releasing have been about the fact of really talking about gut health and nutrition, because it's something that's so important to the chronic pain community, but it's also incredibly important to everybody. So we hear a lot about that gut health these days and how it affects our well-being. And we don't all necessarily know the effects of it and how the signs of our health issues around our body show up in our mouth. So, Little Miss Rocky Road, I'm rolling out the red carpet for you. First of all, I applaud you for working with people's mouths because ew.
It's not ew to me. It makes everybody smile at the end.
I don't know how you do it.
Somebody has to do it, but I actually like it. It's pride and joy for me.
Well, that's good. So how did you get into dentistry in the first place when we all basically hate you people?
Well, I personally always love to get my teeth clean. So that
Oh, you are a weirdo.
yes, I think that's where it started from. And I veered towards not the normal population. I went off by myself.
By myself. Well, I know I always end up like rescheduling all of my dental appointments. It ends up being like 3-4 times, and then I finally make it in.
Oh, but you have a beautiful mouth.
Thank you. Some would not agree with that. I mean, maybe cosmetically. So how did you let's talk about your dentistry and then how you got into gut health and oral health and holistic nutrition and the connection between those two or those three or all of those things above.
So I got into dentistry because I was in the military and I was deployed to Iraq. And on our free time, we could volunteer. So I volunteered in, it was called CMOC, and it was the medical and dental team that would help out the local nationals. And I started to assist a dentist there. And I was like, ooh, I like this. I want to help people. So, of course, when I was overseas, I was starting to look. And then once I got back to the States, that's when I enrolled into school and got into dental hygiene. And it was like perfect for me because it's so structured. You know, you have to have everything clean, but it's an art form too. So, and the creativity of cleaning somebody's mouth is an art form. But then down the line, about 10, 12 years into it, I started to notice that people that actually did do the brushing and flossing, because I was seeing patients regularly, they would still have problems like, cavities, periodontal disease, gingivitis that just wouldn't go away, even though they were doing all the things at home. So that's when I was like, something's missing. Something's missing in the modern day, dentistry that we're not correlating. So I started to do a lot of research, and even family members started coming up to me saying, I'm doing all this stuff, but, my implant has failed. That was somebody in their 30s, one of my family members.
Whoa.
Yeah. And my mother, they were telling her to extract 3 teeth because it got so bad. But I know her home care was good. And I was like, there's a missing link. And that's when I started to veer out. Wait, what are we putting in our mouths other than brushing and flossing? Food. Food is the correlation between what's going on in the mouth, in the gut, in the whole body. We're not viewing the body as a whole. We are dissecting it. We're not running heads. We don't run around with just our heads. We run around with this whole body. So, and I think a lot of people forget that. So
I feel like I run around with my head cut off all the time. So maybe I'm.
No, I do too. I drag my body with me sometimes too, but I definitely started to slow down. So.
Well, it's really interesting because I'm like anal retentive about it. Like I brush my teeth and I do my flossing and I've got my water pick and my sweetie's the same thing. We do all of that, but I'm like, I've got problems with my mouth. Like I don't have bad breath or anything like that. My teeth are pretty okay, but they hurt. And my gums are starting to hurt like really bad. And I'm getting receding gum on one side. And so now I can feel the top of my tooth on one side of my mouth now. And I'm like, what's going on? Because I've always taken really good care of my teeth. So when you made this connection between what the heck is going on with these mouths, because they're doing all of the right things that we say to do, make sure you're doing your this and your that and your all of it. So what's happening then? What the heck is happening where we're doing good care, we're taking care of our teeth, but yet we're still coming up with all of these problems and health issues?
It's because we're still dissecting it and only viewing it as a mouth, because these are just exposed bone. Your teeth are just exposed bone. So if your teeth aren't healthy in your mouth, then what does the rest of your bones look like? And what bones need, they need vitamins, they need minerals, and they need nutrition so that they can regenerate. And I don't believe in today's society with our food actually regenerates our bones and our teeth. They're literally getting softer and they're getting weaker and they're not thick, healthy teeth anymore. They're very brittle, especially people that age. They're brittle. They fall apart. Like you were saying, receding gums. It's a big factor. And sensitivity is skyrocketed. People grinding and clenching their teeth has skyrocketed because of 2020. So there's different factors that we're not taking into consideration. We're just putting Band-Aids on things instead of getting to the root cause.
And so how do we get to the root? Because I love the word root, you little sneaky devil. Evil and conspiring with Rocky Norris. So, so yeah, I mean, getting to the root cause, I know is different for every person.
Yeah.
Because something that you mentioned, which is so freaking crazy to me, is that could each tooth be connected to different organs? I would like to talk to you about that because that is like almost creepy. We talked about like reflexology, like on our feet and how we like press on this is your liver and this is that. And the same thing like with our ears, like we can do acupressure there and all these things. Your teeth, I was mind blown. So can we talk about that? Because that's really interesting.
So there's different roots that connect to your nerves, and those nerves are connected to the same sensors that are connected to other organs in your body. So, when a tooth fails or you get a cavity on it, or let's just say wisdom teeth. Let's go to wisdom teeth. Most people get them extracted, right? But those wisdom teeth are actually connected to your heart. Yeah. So that's why.
Whoa.
Yeah. Your front teeth are usually considered your kidneys, your bladder, and the sex organs. So those are your front teeth. In between, like the front teeth and the wisdom teeth are, small intestines, large intestines, your GI tract. And that's where we see a lot of cavities forming from the chewing surface. When we're chewing and we see a lot of cavities is because there's nutritional imbalance that's happening in your gut. So, of course, your GI tract is going to take the nutrition from the food you eat to put it in your system instead of leaving it with your teeth because there's an imbalance.
Yeah, that's so weird. So where's your liver in your mouth?
I think that's the second molar.
Oh, okay. All right. And she's doing okay. Just checking in on the old liver. No, that's so interesting because I mean, it makes sense. I mean, everything is so connected. And I like that you talk about, we like dissect these certain parts of our body. And that is what our healthcare system has done. And we can only speak to it here in America, which as we know is such a lovely system. But that, you get me started. I'm so frustrated. But like, okay, now we just have this issue with this one tooth or these two teeth or what have you, but it could actually have something to do with your intestines. That's insane to me.
Yep.
And what does that have to do? I mean, gut health, I know there's a gal that's coming. Oh, actually, she was on my show a couple weeks ago and we talked about stomach acid because she was specific about gut health that particular episode. And we talked about stomach acid and how it's almost counterintuitive where you think like, if I'm getting like acid reflux or GERD or whatever, that I have too much stomach acid in my body. And it's quite the opposite. And so we're taking stuff to get rid of stomach acid. And instead, we're supposed to be raising our alkaline and our acid in our stomach. So we're being completely brought down the wrong road just in relation to that in gut health. And how does that affect our teeth and our oral health?
Well, that brings down bone structure, honestly, to tell you the truth. That's where, and I honestly believe that's what happened to a family member of mine that failed her implant because she didn't have enough bone, but she was on inhibitors for, I can't think of the word right now, but for acid reflux. She has GERD. And she's been taking it for over, 10 or 15 years now. And so it literally ate away at the implant.
Yeah, you do like the omeprazole and the Pepcid and all of those things. You're welcome. This is what I do for a living. No, I don't. I just talk about this shit all the time. Right. No, but that's so interesting because it's so counterintuitive to what we've been told to do. Do this, and you'll be fine. Guess what? Like 50% of those things were actually the wrong decision for our oral health care.
Yeah.
So what are you doing in relation to, there was another thing I want to talk to you about, which was in relation to parasites and oral health problems, because I was diagnosed with this random parasite called H. pylori in my gut. And I don't Google it. All right. Just don't do it. I'm not going to answer any of your questions as to how or why. So we end up getting these parasites. We end up getting these weird bacteria in our gut. How in the hell are these all happening? And are they coming from oral health care or are they causing oral health, or is it a little bit of both?
I think it's a little bit of both, but any grinding or clenching, that's a parasite.
Whoa.
We're told that it's actually stress. It's not. It's that the little suckers like to run around at night.
That's how my whole body feels.
Yeah. So, and it's really, if we actually focused it more on the gut and cleared out the gut and made sure that we had a balance, then we would see a lot less trauma in our mouth, including our whole body. So,
Wow.
yeah,
It's
it's
so
crazy.
interesting. It is
Mhm.
crazy. And because I know that like a lot, you talked about the dissecting and we talk about the Band-Aid part of medicine as a whole.
Yeah.
So I know that's not how you work, not doing Band-Aids. So
No.
can we talk about what it is that you do to help your clients in relation to healthy mouth, healthy body, healthy gut? How do we get started with somebody like you? And what are you doing to help us in this regard?
Well, I'm like the first stop you want to see before you actually are going in to see like a GI specialist. Nothing against GI specialists, they're doing their job. But what I will do is dissect what is going on. So I will get to the nitty gritty, and that's what I really focus on and see what's actually going on systemically throughout your body instead of just saying, oh, you have gingivitis or you have gum disease. Let's fix that. No, there's an underlying, you have an autoimmune disorder. Let's figure out what's going on with that autoimmune disorder. Let's build a foundation from that and work our way up.
And how do you go about doing that? What kind of, are there tests involved how do you go about doing that? With like, say just me, like, I'm like, hey, Rocky girl, I have all of these problems as everybody on this show that listens to knows. So how would you onboard somebody like me that's like, okay, I've got all this crazy sensitivity. I've got gut health. I've got disordered eating. Do you work with people with disordered eating in relation?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes,
Good.
it has it all. It's encompassing it all. But what I feel so everybody's bio individual. That's the other thing that I think in America we kind of just put everybody in this pot and say, okay, one size fits all, which is not the case because something you can digest or eat, I can't. So that's what I'm trying to dissect. I'm trying to make sure that we've covered all the bases. And going from that, then the testing comes if need be. Then the supplementation, right? Because we can't, our food is great if we're eating the right foods for our body. But still, the nutrients that we're getting from our food nowadays isn't nearly what it was even 50 years ago. So we have to have some type of supplementation to add in more vitamins and minerals. And then from there, that's when we would structure something that can help you digest your food better and kind of let the funnel, I call it funneling, filter everything out because you don't want to keep toxins in your body because then they start building up and then those nice bugs that you have in your body are like, yes, I get more food. And then your body never gets the nutrients.
Yeah, it's like a big bug party over here.
It is. And they love it. They're like, yes, even more,
It's like that Disney Pixar movie, like bugs or ants or whatever. I don't have any kids, so I don't watch any of that stuff. But that's what I feel like is going on in my body. And like, I've got this weird thing in my legs. I call it the wormy squirmies. And it feels like I have little worms running through the veins of my body. And there are times like over the past 2 weeks in particular, I've had some pretty decent like pain days. I can literally see the pain moving through my legs. It is like creepy. My sweetie and I are like, this is like this is like alien. Like, what is happening in your body? And my dad is so funny because he always has told me, he goes, you weren't born, you were hatched. And I'm like, wow, that actually may have come to fruition. I might actually be an alien.
No, but I hear you. So for me personally, I started the supplements that I use personally because I had postnasal drip my whole adult life. Never could get rid of it. I just thought it was a thing. I was from Southern California and then I moved to Massachusetts. I just thought, oh, it's really damp here. It's just not as dry. Like I'm just going to deal with it my whole adult life. Once I started taking these supplements, I have not had any postnasal drip, no dripping. I don't even know because you're from California too. So I don't even know if you know what postnasal drip is.
I do.
Okay. So it's literally dripping and then you start coughing and it's just horrible. I haven't had it for a year and a half.
Well, it's mostly from cocaine use. So I'm glad you quit that habit.
Yeah, I'm definitely not doing that. That is not holistic, but
oh, it was in my early 20s. Come on. There's a lot of postnasal drip going on.
But I had parasites, and there can be parasites all over your body, not just in your gut, in your nerve endings to, all your lymphatic system. So the holistic dentist that I work for, she went to a chiropractor and they did some weird funky moves on her. And then the next thing she knows, she had a parasite coming out of her eye. So
Shut up.
yes. And
Ew.
yep. I'm telling you, they're everywhere. And we think we live in America, so we don't get it because, we're not a third world country. I was under that delusion too. But I'm like, no, my body was literally living in parasites my whole adult life. So
Wow.
yeah,
Parasite out of her eye.
out of her eye. It was
That,
dead. But it was there. Yeah.
like, I
Yeah.
have this view of like a maggot, like just falling out of
Yes.
her eye.
Yeah. Yeah. She thought it was like an eye gunky and she like pulled it out. Yeah. Yes.
Oh
So
my God. Well, if I didn't think I was going to barf before, I'm totally going to barf now. This is so incredibly interesting because I just can't even believe that. I mean, I'm not stupid. Like, that's the thing that drives me nuts when I have conversations like this where I'm like, I am a smart, bright little lady. How do I not know these things? You just named so many things that I'm like, oh great, oh wonderful, oh great, great, great. But parasites at the nerve endings is what just really made my stomach like, what? What does that even mean? Like, am I literally just a walking parasite? I feel like I am a walking parasite right now. Thank you.
I wasn't meaning that at all. Trust me. But there's so many toxins in our body that we're not even aware of, and that we come from our environment to the food we eat to what we're doing on a day to day basis. Like I said, I had it my whole adult life thinking it was normal. And like you, I was like, oh, I'm pretty smart. Like I know, I just every winter I'm going to have poison nasal drip. I just knew it. Like it just was a thing. And then I was like, oh my gosh, I haven't had it for a year and a half.
And so what did you do? What helped with that?
So I started taking the supplements that I usually give my clients. So, or if they need them.
I mean, based on everybody, we like to talk about it here.
Yes,
Just like you
yes.
mentioned, we're all different people. We all have,
Bio-individual.
bio-individual. I love that
Yeah.
because it's true. Like, don't treat me like you treat this dude over here.
Exactly. No. And that's the thing. We put it in, that's the whole system now.
Yes.
If you have these symptoms, that's what you have. Well, no, can we like reverse and go back a little bit? Like, what is this person eating? What is this person taking? What are their environments like? What is their stress level like? Nobody talks about these things in the modern day, dentistry. So now working with a functional dentist, we talk about all of that. I collaborate with these functional dentists, and it's amazing what we discovered just sitting down and just talking about the person as a whole instead of just their mouth.
Yeah. Well, and I think that that's one of the things that we've talked about this ad infinitum on the show, and we will continue to do so, which when it is about the fact that we aren't treated as holistic beings. We're treated as a one diagnosis that's like, oh, well, this is it. You're like, well, okay, I have CRPS. Let me tell you all the things that it's caused. It's caused disordered eating. It's caused gut problems. It's caused vision problems. It's caused sleeping issues. It's caused. So great. Well, nothing is going to just treat the CRPS. I have to treat a couple of these different things. And I know for me, my number one issue is food. And so I just didn't know that it was actually happening until it was like almost too late for me. Like, oh, great. Now I've got to like fix all of these things. So with your experience, and I'm putting you on the spot here, how long, let's just say, for example, I've had some oral health issues for the past couple of years. I've got some gut health problems that have come up. How long, when we start really working on it with somebody like you, in your experience, are you able to reverse some damage or at least help support some damage? Are we talking like, well, we'll see in 2 years and I hope this all shakes out? Or what are we talking about as far as timeline? Because I know we're all about like, let's fix it now. I know that it is a marathon and not a sprint when it comes to my body. So I'm much more patient when it comes to that, but I know a lot of people aren't.
Well, you said it wonderfully because your body is amazing. And if you give it the credit that it deserves because it has, traveled with you this whole time, it will give it back tenfold. So with that being said, if you treat it kindly and slowly, like the body needs to regenerate itself and its cells, it will do wonders for you. Usually with my clients, we start to see change in the first 2 months. My program that I do is 3 months. But I've had actually people piggyback and do like a 6 months because they've seen the progress. I mean, I had somebody that had heartburn for, I don't know, like 10 years. And she literally doesn't have it anymore because she followed the protocol and understood her body. And then from there, and then she had psoriasis disappeared. So it's just, it's very interesting what the body can do if you give it what it needs. And everybody's different. So I can't say she did X, Y, and Z, and that's going to work for you. So I'd have to sit down, talk to you, discuss what your body likes, what it doesn't like, because you know your body much better than I do. But I'm there just to guide and say, oh, let's try this. Or, you know what, let's move away from that and see what your body does react to. To get down to the nitty gritty, it's something that your cells, which is your mitochondria, which is that's where you get energy. If you have so much mitochondria, you're going to have a lot more energy. It's going to help with your immune system. It's going to boost all your GI tract, and you're just going to flourish and you're going to have all this energy. If you do not have a lot of mitochondria, which is the cell in your body, then it can't regenerate itself. And like I said, I get to the nitty gritty to the mitochondria. I want that healthy mitochondria to the cell level. I want to get to that baseline so that you can build and build and build so that you can do it for X amount of years.
I just find this so amazing, just as a whole, doing this show and speaking with people like you that are such wonderful healers and so smart and so interested in, you're so laser focused on care. Like for me and my business and what I do, I am so broad stroked and I have so many different verticals. And I mean, I'm good at what I do for a living, but like when it comes to being laser focused on something specific to oral health care, that's just like so neat, because especially when you know the trickle down effect. And I don't love that phrase, but that's what came out of my mouth. But the fact that you can make these little changes, like I've always said, you make small changes to make huge results.
Yeah.
And if everybody looks at like, oh my God, I have to eat an elephant right now, you do not have to.
No.
You just have to reach out to some people where you are suffering with whatever pain you are, whatever ailment you are, whatever health condition you have, and be your own advocate. That is something that is huge for me, is to make sure that we are. And so with you, how do we find you? How do we get in touch with you? And how do we get started with you to help get these little mini parasite parties that are going on out of here? I feel like I've got a band in my stomach all day.
Well, you can find me at toothgut.com on my website. And I do have a free discovery call, and we'll discuss if we're, a good match, because it's bioindividualism. So we have to see if we're a good match, and then we go from there. And that's how most people contact.
I love it. And then she's also on Instagram at tooth_gut_nutrition. She's also on Facebook on Nutrition with Rocky. And then like she mentioned, toothgut.com. And is there anything else that you'd like to leave our listeners with before we kick the can here?
Yes, I am going to be launching a cheat sheet for oral health care. So it'll be tartar-free teeth, because that is everyone's number one goal, to have tartar-free teeth.
And I don't even know what really causes tartar, honestly.
I have the cheat sheet.
Oh, good. Okay. Well, I'll get that into social and on the website and show notes and all of that jazz. Thank you so much for being here today, Rocky Star.
Thank you so much for having me. I love talking with you.
I know. I love talking with you too. Thank you so very much.
Thank you.
You are exclusively invited to share this happy, smiling VIP pain journey together. Let's get to the heart of how to heal with you by my side. Do you know someone who is living in and with chronic pain? If you do, or gut health issues for that matter, if you do, send them our way here to the Pain Game Podcast. I would love to connect with them and hear their heartfelt stories of strength, wisdom, and awesomeness. Please follow the Pain Game Podcast wherever you digest your podcast content. We will be there. Visit us at thepaingamepodcast.com and follow us on all the socials. Thanks for listening, my little VIPs. Catch you on the other side.